Hello, this is Imi from mytradeaims.net, AIMS stress-free trading. Let's have a quick video on DAX or the German 30, how we traded it today, or how we should have or could have traded it. So I've drawn this London open line here. Let's draw a horizontal line just to see, make a point. This is where it started. Price went down first. So before you start your session, you could have a very quick analysis of what's happening. On the hourly, yesterday we had identified this range and price literally stayed inside that range, and I'm going to show you some of the pictures that we posted yesterday, and it kept going on and on and on. So bear with me for a second. Right, so here is the first image that I took and shared in our chat room. Anyway, here it shows the Scooby. We have this pattern Scooby. I don't know if you can see it. I'm not going to explain it right now. But at the start of the session or an hour into it, I drew this box to show that price might stay inside this box, the nose or the snout of Scooby. Let's go to the next. And then I'm showing this later on, probably an hour into the London Open. And it's kind of going short. So here you had the hunt signal, which you could have taken at the London Open, which was here, and see here to here, and then it bounced off that previous levels exactly as identified it was. So when the market organizes itself into a structure, it tends to persist. Read that again or listen to it again. And when it organizes itself into a trend, it tends to persist. And when sometimes the trend is sideways, you see, there are we tend to say trend. We call trends only when they're going up or down, but actually there are three types of trends: the trends that go up, the trends that go down, and the trends that go sideways. There are ways to trade all three of them, but easier to trade the up and the down trends. And then obviously within the uptrend and the downtrends, you have the very fast, the steep trends that go far away from the moving averages. It's spiky. And then there are the ones that are about 45 degrees around like this. And then there are some like this. And then there are others. So this as a whole would be a sideways trend, like so. Okay, so let's go to the next picture. Oh, this is just a setup 1 or a setup 2. Well, I call it a setup 1 because it's a 3-4 situation. So anything after that would be a setup 1. So if for those of us like, I'm using dots because I teach the setup 1 thing. But when I was not, I mean, if I were to do it myself alone, I won't have the dots. I will just simply look at the 3-4 pattern and the sleeping gator and the purple correct, and I would take any setup, any entry from here and here. But if you look at the flow chart, obviously if you're stage 1, you have to look at it. So this is a pink dot. Flow chart would say to wait for a fresh box, which you would have waited, and then your entry would have been there and here. This is not one of the pairs that we trade, but it was a fantastic setup 1. Right. So this is what it is. So earlier I pointed out, same chart, same lines. Look how it reacts to the highs of the range. And now some impetus into the market. So now up to this point, and the market went here and then came around here, and I've already marked it. This is the picture that I actually posted yesterday in the chat room. And then when this happened, it drew my attention to the market. And then I actually took a pullback trade up there as well, which I probably will show. Yes, so yeah, here again I'm showing it on the M5 how the market stayed in that range, and there are ways of trading this as well, but there are also ways of trading inside the range. So if the range from up and there is around 50 or more, then on M1 you will have quite a lot of setups going on, especially when you have monarch patterns like this inside it. You'll find setups up there. All right. And yes, this is that trade that I took. So this is purely an advanced type of trade, momentum based. So this is the hunt pattern. So I waited for the spike came back. If price went above this box, I won't be interested, but it came all the way and then it created kind of an inside candle up there. I made my entry here. Stop loss was here, I think, or no, I think it was here first, moved a little bit there later on, and then I let it just be trailed by a box, and honestly I was not looking at it. The next one okay, yeah, stop loss was here. So this is the picture that I actually posted in the group. Entry based on the IB after a spike and pullback. Won't recommend taking trades like this during stage 1 and 2, but when you get to the stage 3, you should be able to decide how you should be trading. So there are many ways. We have, I don't know, I was counting the other day, probably around 11 type of entries that you can master with AIMS, starting with the setup one, which is the basic pattern underlying structure of the market. It's in there, and all the other entries are kind of spring out of that concept. So you start there and then you can build if you want to. Otherwise 2 or 3 entry mechanism is enough. So this was half a risk, I think. Yeah, so that's $271 banked in there. Okay, in this picture I showed, so these are all the pictures that I actually share in the chat room. I think it would make a very good video for showing, you know, the kind of stuff that keeps going on in the chat room. And let me actually bring the chat room up. Where the hell is it? Here it is. So I'm gonna bring it over here. Let's blur this, Mr. So we have the main chat room, and I think yesterday, yeah, you can see that those are the same pictures that I've been posting over there, and then I posted this one. You know, if you want to find out, you can look back in the same video. I talked about this picture, I talked about this picture, I talked about this picture, and right now I just talked about this one. So these are the pictures that during the day, during the session, I keep going and posting. There's a funny thing. I was going through one of the Facebook groups. People asked me that I should join some groups, and I actually felt like, okay, I'll go, and maybe if people ask questions, I will, you know, try to help them and stuff like that. But I came around shit like this. So someone said they turned 500 into 6,000 in a week, or somebody, or there are spammers who kind of say, my life's changed, and this guy, you know, who helped me do this, I changed my 500 to 6,000 until, you know, I withdrew the money. So, you know, if you want, I can give you the number, or WhatsApp is here, and blah blah blah. So I calculated, and I found out, okay, so that's 1,200% profit. Why would you withdraw money? Forget that. If they kept going at it, and if they do it for the next 52 weeks, this is how much money you will make. Now that is more, far more, probably about 10 zeros more than the number of atoms on planet Earth. So this is something with a 60 zeros. It's just bullshit. Anyway, so that's the next picture. Okay, so this is the picture that we were discussing. So I posted like a bare minimum. This is one of my templates I created where I can get to have the count of the waves, and I can see the market as it is. I wouldn't look at the chart without the box, because the box is the underlying structure of the structure of the market. The structure of the market being Elliott-Wave, and the structure of Elliott-Wave is this box. So the box formation is always there, and it helps me with a lot of them. So if you look at it, this box has formed all these levels, and it's been going up and down. So it becomes very, very interesting. It helps you either take the trades or actually leave them. Okay, so what else is there? Okay, let's go back there. So that was the last picture. I was going to make this video about today, which is the 6th of November, but it turned out I made the video about yesterday's stuff, and the video is already 9 or 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably go one step more. So this is about today's trade. So what I'll do is that I will make a separate video for today's trade, but so that one is for yesterday, and yesterday was an interesting session. I managed to pull some profits using this kind of niche, my own kind of way of trading, but you don't have to do this. This is years of trading spikes, our AIM's new strategy, which is there in the dashboard. If you look at it, it will train you. This is literally like trading news. So in news, you'll have the spike, and you wait a minute or two, and the spike comes back. And then when you kind of visually look at it, that price is not going back up. And one of the rules is that price should not go where it started. Now, this wasn't a news, or probably there was an underground news, which I probably didn't know, but it spiked, came back, I made my entry, and then I trailed the box. We did that. So in the next video, I will discuss how I made about $1,500 today.